Urban Chick Chatter Podcast coming in. We have to learn sometimes that when we bring ourselves into other people's atmospheres, sometimes we have to go along and play their games. But you also have to be mindful that you need to be who you are and not what people want you to be. So this podcast is titled Stand Your Ground and Stay Who You Are. Because if you don't, at the end of the day, people will try to change you to who you're not or who they want you to be because of their benefit. And I'm traveling at this time, so y'all got to excuse the radar in the background. I'm sorry. But for safety reasons, I have to have it on. But we're going to continue on with this podcast because I just want to say this. I've been out for a while, been working on some other things. So therefore, I have missed a couple of my podcasts. But that's not here nor there. But when I do come, I do bring content. And this content today, like I said, is don't let people change who you are for their satisfaction. When you're passionate about who you are and what you do, sometimes when you're working in collaboration with other people, it has a tendency to cause a conflict of interest. And what I mean about a conflict of interest, because you're passionate about your business and what you're doing, and you're collaborating and networking with other people, people feel that you're trying to display your business and your business overshadowing their business. That's not true. It's not necessarily true. Because when you're dealing with people and someone asks you, what do you do for a living? And you have to give them an answer. You can't just say, well, I'm collaborating and networking with this person. Because that doesn't work that way. Because you are still an individual when you're networking or when you're collaborating. So therefore, you should be able to introduce your business, who you are, in that conversation. And sometimes people get offended when they feel that you're trying to make it about you, and it's not necessarily that. You're not trying to make it about you. What you're trying to do is you're trying to give people a understanding of who you are, what you do, and why you do what you do, and what brought you into that collaboration with these people. And keep in mind, it's 2:12 Central Standard Time, and PA Little Bit is traveling from South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. I decided to drop this podcast because I feel passionate who I am, what I do, who I work with, and when I work with people. But it comes a time when you can't let people silence you of who you are. You stand up for who you are and what you believe in. Excuse me, y'all. Change the weather. And when people start silencing you from you defining who you are, that means that they really don't have your best interest at heart. And when I mean that, you're not trying to overshadow who they are, but also you have to let people know who you're dealing with. And some people get offended by that. And I feel that's a disservice to the people that you're working with when you don't let them introduce who they are and what they do for a living. There's too much money to be made out here for people to feel defensive. People feel that somebody's taking what belongs to them rightfully. That's not necessarily true. Y'all gotta excuse the change in my voice. Weather changing in Texas. But that's not here, not there. But I just wanted to bring this to this podcast because, like I said, I've been missing for a while. And I just let God use me when He feels it's time to use me on my podcast. Like I said, that I was obligating myself to drop my podcast every Tuesday morning at 5 a.m. Central Standard Time. But I prayed about it. Some people may not pray, but that's up to you what you're doing. But like I said, I stand on God's word, and that's how I'm gonna be. But at the same time, you have to stand up for yourself. And I understand that people feel that you may be a little bit blunt and direct when things go on in a conversation, but that's the world. The world is blunt and straight. So if you can't take a person being blunt and straight, how can you even take the world being blunt and straight? Life is too short to play games with people. And life is too short to sit and miss your number. And what I mean by that when I say miss your number, if someone asks you a question about yourself, about what you do, they're asking for a reason. It's a justified reason they're asking. So when people get offended by that, I have a problem with that. And I'm quite sure other people in society have a problem with that. Because if you want to silence me from introducing who I am, what my walk is, what my story is, or whatever, that's not right. Because you can't tell my story. And yes, there is a place and time for telling a story. But it's kind of hard when your story is who you are. And I do wear my business logos everywhere I go. So sometimes people ask, what is Urban Chick Chatter? Urban Chick Chatter is a safe space where I love for people to come and voice their opinions and not be talked about, not be judged, as well as the host shouldn't be judged. But I've been feeling like this for the last few months, that when I come into certain spaces, and it's been like this for a while, when I come into certain spaces, people want me to silence who I really am and just shut up and be quiet. That's not the way the world works. And when you tend to do stuff like that, you don't know what mental health that person is in or they state they're in at that time. So you have to learn how to read the room. And if you have not learned how to read the room, shame on you. Let me get a drink, y'all, please. Sorry, I'm back. But we can't allow people to silence us. And when I say that, that goes to my shout out to my brother Otho Wallace in Florida. Right now, he's holding it down. He doesn't have a choice at this point in time. And I really hadn't been seeing the backstory of what's going on with him, but I always keep him in prayer. He came as a discussion tonight with a brother from his homeland. And like I said, when I go places, I'm very passionate. So I don't hide who people are, what they have done, and what their purpose is. So when people get offended when I have open discussions with people about me and other people and other dealings I've dealt with, I feel some type of way behind that, because it makes me feel like you're trying to silence me. And I understand, yes, people have to do what they need to do for businesses and stuff like that, but, you know, it's a place and time when you want to say that. And I just want to say this, and it's no offense to anybody. When someone is close in your age, but they have earned that title and have been married for quite a while, out of respect, you don't call them by their first name. You call them Miss, Mrs., or something to that sort. Because even if you're in a business, partnership, networking, or whatever together, you put a handle on that Mr. or Mrs. name. Because they've earned that title. So you don't get that right to call them by their name, by their first name, per se. So basically, what I'm saying is, you know, we have to learn how to be more clear with people. And sometimes we tend to just back up and don't say anything because we don't want to cause conflict of interest, or it may close doors on opportunities. But at the same time, when God gives you that word and that mouthpiece, if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, God's going to pull you out of it. No matter what, when, where, how, or who that person is. But I just want y'all to know, keep it going. We have only one life to live. Use it wisely. Utilize it. Network. Collaborate. But just make sure you have your stuff in line first before you try to go dipping and dabbing in somebody else's business to get in there and networking in collaboration with them, and your stuff doesn't look good on your side. Learn how to build your own business. I'm not knocking anybody that does graphic design, webs, and whatever else. But what I'm saying is people need to learn how to build their own business. And why I'm saying that is because when that person who built your business or helped you build that business is not available, you're not trying to sit down and figure out and twiddle your thumbs how you fix this page, how you fix this web page, how you fix this hyperlink, how you fix this QR code. If you have hands-on into your business, you're not going to have a problem trying to get anything fixed. And then also, you won't have to worry about trying to call somebody to get a file to figure out where it is. Or waiting on them 2-3 weeks to get your files fixed for your digital content or whatever you're trying to sell. So if y'all don't know who Miss King Ashley Ann is, she's on TikTok. She's one of my coaches. On TikTok, she's the feminist millionaire, y'all. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm dropping this podcast. This is a heart and soul podcast. So it has no judgment with it. So if you have a judgment for it, that's fine. But, just know that this is the real Felicia that you're getting at 2 o'clock in the morning. Learn to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, people are not going to love you. And like I was told by one of my cousins, I have a big aura. And as time goes on and I'm a serial entrepreneur and I start doing stuff and stepping out on faith, I see that. My aura comes across very strong on people, and they have a tendency to get me misunderstood. But like I said, that's for them to learn me, not for me to teach them to learn me. So when people say, well, you tell too much or you talk too much, well, you know what? That's something you need to take over God, because God designed me. And yes, God did give us 5 senses. But at the same time, God said when you're passionate about who you are, you need to speak up. So don't let people dumb you down or make you feel some type of way. But like I say, love, peace, happiness from Urban Chick Charity Podcast, Port Arthur, Texas. South by Southwest, Austin, Texas, en route, coming in. I love y'all. Take care. Always remember, keep saying good morning, because somebody else didn't have a chance to say good morning. Be blessed.